Yo, what's good, man? It's me, your big homie Dollar Black, and I'm coming to you today to talk about the Journey Journal. Hello, Black Man. Brought to you by Jamie Jenkins and Jamie Jenkins Inc., man. I've had the opportunity to be able to really sit with this piece of work. It's a guided journal, man, that really gets you to dig in depth about what it is that you may be going through and experiencing. And in times where we as men don't really look to express ourselves and talk about our feelings or the things that really bother us, I've found myself really going through a lot of things that I might have overlooked growing up, and things that I went through, things that I encountered, things that I had problems with and really couldn't speak out about, man. So this has been a great tool for me to be able to de-stress and release some of the ideas and the thoughts that I've been having, man. So do yourself a favor, get over to helloblackman.com, get you a journal. It's available on Amazon, any place where you can buy journals. Again, shout out to the guy, Jamie Jenkins. He even put a little picture up there so you know what he look like. Shout out to the dog. I got the shirt on too, man. Thank y'all so much for everything that y'all have done as far as supporting. I look forward to finishing this, and you will too. Dollar Black.
Hey, how are you guys this evening? My ever so tardy co-host. How you gonna know what we talking about? You tardy for the party.
Listen, we talking about men versus women. That's my whole life, baby. I got that.
Turn your phone sideways. Men, you
Okay.
you sure do. You got that in the bag, buddy.
I got that in a bag, baby. Do you hear me?
Welcome back, guys, for another episode of the Parent Connection. I am very excited to have the guest that we have tonight. I'm excited to be talking about the things that we're going to be talking about tonight. It's going to be a really great show. If you guys are here, it is free to hit that like button. If you like us, share it. If you don't, it's fine too. You can
Share it anyway. If you don't like me, share it to somebody else that don't like me. Please hit the share button.
They like it. You know, we know that we not on the top of the list of viewers, but here we are, and we are ready to communicate tonight. We're an open book, and we are about to talk to some awesome guests just about parenting and fathers versus mothers and co-parenting and what men be doing wrong, what men think women be doing wrong. We're about to get into this tonight, and I'm very excited because this week we have listened our guests so people can have more opportunity to talk, and I feel like this is going to be a two-parter because these topics you cannot get in an hour, but we are going to wrap it up in an hour because we know that people don't like to, be on the shows watching for no periods of time. So this week, I have a very special guest. I'm trying to think, do I want to go since it's me and you? Maybe I should do a girl first. We got one of our friends, our show usuals, or it's not usuals, regulars. One of our show regulars, Miss Jabria. Man, I want to say this name right. Ayala. Shake your head, Jabria. You in the background. Is that right? Ayala? No. Alala. I'm messing it all up. I'm gonna let her tell y'all her name. That she's an amazing woman, a phenomenal female, a great mother, and she got some stuff to tell us tonight. So welcome, Jabria. Tell us, Jabria. First of all, it's Jabria. I'd have messed that up from the jump. Unmute your mic.
Yes, it's Jabria Ayala.
Ayala. Woo! Yes, that's killing me every time. Tell the viewers who you are and what you got in store, and what you do, and how are you a parent?
Well, I am a parent of a 8-year-old. She just turned 8 last month. I work in social services right now. I do have a journal that we have gotten published. It is to help bridge the gap between parents and their young children, so we can start at a young age, trying to get them to talk and express their feelings and everything.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Jabria, for Ayala. Got it right that time. Yes. For joining us this evening. I have up next Mr. M5, Mr. Tromaine. He is a dad and he has lots to talk about. I want to bring him to the stage so he can tell y'all all about himself. Hey, welcome back.
What's going on, beautiful people? How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
What's happening?
Man, I'm doing great. Black man and black woman.
Hello, somebody.
Tell the people about how you're a dad and what you have to offer to the conversation.
Wow. So I'm a father of three. Children ranging from 18, 16, and 12. I have two sons and a daughter. Had my first kid when I was 21. Still a boy trying to figure out how to be a man, right? That was a whole process in itself. Um, Currently, I reside in the great state of Mississippi. All right, if you believe that. I'm kidding, right? I'm kidding. And my wife and I work together. We are financial coaches and entrepreneurs. And, I'm just here for the conversation, man. Look, if I can add any value, I'm here for it. I'm very passionate about fatherhood and families.
All right, that sounds like what we need in the building tonight. My next guest, Day, are you there? I don't see your face. I'm going to skip her. I was doing guy, girl, guy, girl. Let me see. No, she's not there, so we're gonna skip her. But I have a special guest, my stand-in tonight, my good friend Wade from Maryland. He decided at the last minute. Oh, they popped back in. Okay, they're gonna come back to you. I'm gonna say the best for last. Daedrin is the baby of the bunch, but she has a lot to offer. She's a firecracker, and she's from down my way in the Port Gibson area. So that's why I'm very, very proud to have her here. Day, I want you to tell the people all about who you are and what you have to offer to the conversation.
Hello, everybody. I am 23. I'm a lock stylist and the founder of my nonprofit, Day by Day, for individuals suffering from depression and domestic violence survivors. I do co-parent. It is a 7-hour distance co-parenting relationship. It's very interesting. I'll say that, but it's really good. Though we manage very well, so I'm excited to tell you all about that experience.
Well, that's what's up. Just being able to manage any type of co-parenting is a blessing in itself, no matter how far or how close you are. So, all right, last, I'm going back to my buddy, my homie friend, Mr. Derek Jones. He is joining us tonight, guys, like I said, from Maryland, and I promise he has a lot to offer to the conversation. Derek, come in and tell us all about you and your parenting experience.
Hey y'all, I know it's a lot of y'all are from Mississippi, so I'm gonna say hey y'all.
All of them. Don't do that, though, Derek. Don't do that.
I'm messing with you. Hey, I'm happy to be here. Hello Black Man's always been an avid supporter, and likewise. So, and I do want to make this comment too. Nobody knew that Jamie was late until you volunteered the information. So I just need for you to just, sometimes you gotta just.
No, I had to make him feel how I wanted him to feel. But I know you didn't taught me and train me. Y'all, he's also a relationship counselor and therapist. He's also helped me to be a better mate. And he is right now correcting me in public, but he didn't want me to correct him in public. See how this works?
Come on, man. We got the brothers. The brothers got to stick together.
You're right. You're absolutely
So,
right. Babe,
no, but just in short, I am a life and relationship coach, also a host of the Relationship Gumbo podcast every Wednesday, and I'm a dad of a 12, almost 13-year-old daughter. So there's a lot of complications that come along with that age range and the puberty and everything else. But I'm handling it. I'm a co-parent, so it's been interesting. But I definitely want to add to this conversation the nuances of just. All of us, just being parents and the struggles we have to with these new kids.
Oh yeah, they are definitely not who we were. All right, so I'm publicly apologizing to you, Jamie, for telling the people that you were late. But anybody who knows me, who knows you, who knows us, know that is nothing new. So if you weren't late, we'd probably be more surprised. But I'm just glad you made it and that you're here.
Right, text me. Why are you on here so early? What is going on?
I'm glad to see your face. So first up, guys, there's always an introduction. So tonight, our segue into the first topic is I want to know something that you guys learned about parenting that has completely changed your life as a parent. And we're going to start from the bottom and come around back to the top. So Tremaine, we'll start with you. Start at the end, coming back to the front.
Man, something I've learned as a parent that have completely changed my life.
Well, just the way that you parent more so than anything.
So I've realized that parenting evolves over time. Okay. So the way I was parenting, my children when they were young, obviously is not the way that I'm doing it today, right? They change, kids grow, and the way you have to communicate with them has to change and grow as well. And it's really interesting because I'm able to see the difference in how I'm handling each of them because, again, I have an 18-year-old. Our conversations are completely different. He's a guy, hormones is raging. We're having real conversations now, right? My daughter is 16 years old. She's a daddy's girl. I'm still a little soft on her, right? So, but she's super smart though, right? Our conversation, is very different than the conversation I have with my 12-year-old. I mean, the parenting styles is just different. And it's changed a lot because I wasn't expecting that. Like, I just thought that, I got it in the bag, bro. Like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm hit with situations and stuff, and I'm having to kind of pivot, to be effective. And it's been interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, this journey of parenting is evolving, and it's a continuation. My 18-year-old, man, like, I'm still trying to figure out how to, communicate with my guy. You know what I'm saying? So that's it for me. But I'm here for it, and I'm enjoying it. But it is a little stressful sometimes.
Are they all in the house with you?
They all in the house with me. That's actually a good question. So I had 2 kids prior to getting married, with 2 different women. Don't judge me, Jay Bria. Okay. I grew up in Mississippi. I went out to Miami, and I don't know, man. Look, there's a lot going on out there.
No explanation.
Okay.
No explanation.
I think we do know.
There's a lot going on out there. But yes, they've been with me since they were, I think, 4 and 1 or something like that, right? So yeah, they are here.
Awesome. All right, Day, tell us about you. What is one thing you have learned that has tremendously changed your trajectory as a parent? One day you're just like, oh man, okay, this is what I need to do better.
Sorry. My problem is, well, I won't say my problem, but I've learned that with my 2-year-old, it really takes patience and understanding that she is 2. And as much as I want her to know better, she doesn't. That's really all. Like, having the patience to know, okay, she broke my TV and I want to be mad, but I can't be mad because she's 2.
And once she gets 22, you're going to be saying the same thing.
Exactly.
No, she's 22. She's going to replace that TV. She can't do it like she's
Okay, Derek, tell us about your big change as a parent. What did you learn that you was like, man, I've been doing this wrong?
I think just the understanding of what I would want for my daughter versus what she needs from me, if that makes sense. And then, like, giving her the freedom to express herself versus the way I was raised, which was like, you must go this direction, you must do this, allowing her to have the freedom to kind of express how she feels. Like it or love it, she's able to freely speak about what she feels, and then we can handle it from there, versus how I was raised, which was like, you must do this or else. I had to learn at a young age. When I did that with her, she was just like, whoa, like, why are you talking to me in that tone? Why are you? And I'm like, wait, she's taking this personally. Like, I had to shift my thinking, because the punishments were like, and the discipline was like, she didn't attach it to the thing she did wrong. She thought I was personally attacking her, the person. And when I saw that in her eyes, I had to switch it, because it was doing more damage than good. And I had to retrain myself how to do discipline with her, because what works for her may not work for a different kid. So I had to, focus in on her and figure out what she needed from me. So that was what I learned.
Awesome. Now, do you guys split 50-50, or is she full-time with you, full-time with her mom? How's that work?
It was 50-50 for most of her life, but now that she's in middle school and the school is by her mom, she's with her mom for scheduled purposes during the week. So I get her every other weekend, and then like, you know, if I feel froggy, I'll go up and like eat dinner with her or something. It's like an hour-ish away from here, but
Sweet.
we talk every day. But it's just, you know, it's weird because I would say probably for the first 8 years, it wasn't even really 50-50. It was like maybe like a 90-10 split my way. So it's a little different. I was a real big part of her life, and now I had to kind of let it go a little bit for her structure.
Well, as long as you talk to her every day, that's what matters the most. All right, Miss J. Bria, tell us all about what moment struck you that said, "Hey, I need to kind of change things up," or you were doing things great and you felt like this reassured you that you were on the right trajectory.
Oh, that's a good one. I guess I'm the only one in my family that has a child so far. Well, my little cousin has one, but he's a younger. So I didn't have anybody to look up to see how they were raising their kids, to have anybody to go by. And I just kind of go with the flow with mine. We have our own special relationship. A few of my family members think I talk to her kind of like she's a big girl, but I don't do the baby talk and holding hands. I just tell her how it is. And we were out somewhere and she was doing something. What she said stuck out to me. And she was like, "Mom, you know why I do that?" And I was like, "Why?" And she was like, "Because you raised me to do that." So that reassured me that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing right. And she's actually picking up on what I'm saying and what I'm doing versus how others may think that I should be doing things with her and raising her by their book, but it didn't work. It doesn't work. Everyone parents different.
Facts. All right. Hello, Black man. What moment changed your parenting trajectory? You have a lot of feedback. Do you have your headphones on?
Yeah, my headphones are cutting out every time I connect them. So and then it's telling me that you can't use them.
As
I've
long as
never.
everybody else is muted, I think you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. So I don't think I think it's just a series of moments for me. Because parenting, one, any parent out there for prospective parent, a past parent, upcoming, it doesn't matter. It's not easy. There is no rule book. There is nothing there's nothing guaranteed that works for me that's going to work for you. And as when I was growing up, I felt like, you know, it should be easy for my mom to do certain things or to have certain understanding. Like, Mom, I'm a child. You know, it should be easy. This parenting stuff should be easy, but it's not. And so what I'm seeing now is this parenting is hard. There's no rule book. Your kid's going to test boundaries. Everybody's child is going to test boundaries, and they're going to push you. They're going to push you. They're going to push you. You just got to be able to communicate. Like Tremaine said, you got to figure out a way to speak their language. If you don't, then it just makes parenting super hard for you. No matter what your style is, you could be a laid back parent, you could be an aggressive parent. If you can't speak the language of the child that you're raising, and they don't necessarily speak your language because that's the only language you speak, then it's going to be tough on you. That's all I got.
All right. Great. Great. Everybody, y'all had very great. Oh, it's my turn. So I want to segue this thing into our topics for tonight. So the moment that really changed my trajectory as a mother is having to actually co-parent. For the longest, when I was married, even when I got divorced, I wanted to be the person who had all of the say so. I wanted him to do things my way. I wanted him not to take them places that I didn't want them to go. I wanted him, if they went to a movie that I didn't feel was appropriate, I wanted to direct it. No, why would you do that? That's insane. So eventually, it took me a while because I got married. Tremaine, I got you beat. I had a baby when I was 17 years old, 18 right out of high school. So I was really a baby. So I was really learning things as I was going. So it took me a long time to realize that my duty was to raise my kids for me. Like when they were with me, it was my duty to take care of them while they were with me. I chose to have children by this man and I married him. So when they were with him, I had to trust him to do what was right by them. And the moment that I was able to do that, not only did my children have a better relationship, wholly with both of us, but we were able to get along with one another once I realized I had to back out of what he was doing with him and allow him to do what he needed to do. So, and I know a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people want that ultimate control. They want to know, they want all the say so, and it's not fair. You take away the man's ability to get to know the kid, to bond with the kid when you're trying to do all of the directing. So we're going to segue that right into our topic for the night, co-parenting. Do you all think, this is the first question, that the way that the system in America, in the world, is set up, that the odds are stacked against fathers and their desire to raise their kids? We'll start with you, Jabri. You got your head going. You ready for this topic? We're going to start. Jay Bria. Jay, I'm just going to call you Jay.
Yes, that's why everybody calls me Jay. I was going to say that at the beginning. No one really calls me Jay Bria. Gotcha. So repeat that question again.
Yes, are the odds against men who desire to raise their kids in situations like, just say for instance, like me and my ex-husband, we got divorced and we go to court. Is it always likely, regardless of my status, regardless of how much care I can provide for the kids, are the kids going to go to me, and why?
Well, I am also divorced as well. Sorry. I'm also divorced as well. So I understand a lot of the times I do find it that they favor the child going to the mother as opposed to going to the father, no matter what the father has going on. And there are some really good fathers out there who take the time out. And sometimes it's not fair. The mother doesn't, I'm not going to say doesn't do as well as the father, but you have some moms that just, the child probably would have been better with the dad. But, sometimes they have a fair chance. Sometimes they don't. It just depends on everybody's situation and what they have going on.
Okay. Derek, what do you have to say on that topic?
I think on its face, I think it does sway towards the women's way, which automatically makes it unfair to a man who may be in a position to handle it, maybe even better in some cases. I think there's a unspoken assumption that the woman is going to be nurturing and she's going to be able to, play the mother, not play the mother role, but be the motherly type. And we know that all women aren't that, even with child. And so the assessment kind of gets skewed a little bit because they assume that that's the best place for the kids simply because she should be the nurturer. This is where the child is supposed to be, under the mother's wing when they're young. And that should be the best place for them. But we know in practice, we know a lot of people who is probably not the best. So it's weird because, the court, I'm not an advocate for or against how the system is at this point because I'm not in the system like that. But I just think that it's the assessment should take into consideration probably some other factors that we don't even look at. So I'm gonna leave it there.
That's a good place to land there, Derek, because that's facts. I don't think that half of what needs to be taken into consideration is taken into consideration. And in order to get those things into consideration, it takes a lot more work. And not everybody's willing to do the work, which is also a travesty that a lot of men aren't willing to do the work. Dave, what do you got? What do you think about how the system works for men versus women when it comes to parenting?
Sorry, I have to remember to unmute my mic.
I got you.
So I am honestly dating someone that has been in that situation. So I'll speak based on his situation because he did win the custody battle and has raised that child all her life. And she's now, a young adult and he's raised since she was 3. So just from what I've seen, yes, it is always in the mother's favor, even though it should not always be in the mother's favor, as you all say. I feel like each parent should be equally held accountable and equally judged. But of course, they're going to attack the father, especially if it's a Black man, a lot harder, or investigate, I'll say, that man a lot more than they would the mother. And for the safety of a child, I feel like it should be an equal investigation. Like
Indeed.
that shouldn't even be a thing that should be questioned, honestly.
I agree. Here's a comment here that says, in my experience, personally, professionally, most of the time, mothers tend to be better caregivers for the child. Mr. Tromaine, I put that out there just for you as you begin to discuss your yours doing this. Oh, let us know how you feel about that topic.
Well, look, I don't know about, can y'all hear me? I don't know about better caretakers. I mean, that's interesting. So I obviously don't feel that way, but I do feel like, and I don't feel like dads are necessarily better caretakers either. I think that, you know, it probably varies case by case. All right. And I do see, shout out to the brothers, a lot more fathers involved in the lives of their children today than what it maybe was, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, right? I see a lot of brothers pushing strollers and things like that. But I will say this, though. I don't feel like the system is set up and created to favor dads at all. And this is the reason why a lot of men, in my opinion, don't feel like they have a say-so when it comes to their children, right? When it comes to having an opportunity to win at a custody battle. Like, what is a custody battle, right? I mean, most guys just really don't even know, you know, what that is. You know, I can remember, you know, my first few bouts with the court system, and you know, I was mauled. I mean, like, my opinion didn't matter. The fact that these were my children didn't matter. Okay, I felt like when the judge looked at me, he probably seen, you know, a deadbeat dad. I mean, I felt judged, right? I think the thing that kind of kept me going was that when I grew up without a dad, and I just made a promise to myself that, you know, I would always be in my children's lives. And in the event that I wasn't, that there was going to be a paper trail, right? I was going to be able to show them, hey, no, don't label me, bro. You see all these, like, no, I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. But no, the system is not the same. I mean, there's a lot more support for women. There's way more resources for women than it is for dads. You know, I can remember, you know, one of these young ladies put me on child support, right, early on. And it probably took her 2 weeks, right? I mean, like, within 2 weeks, you know, like, I was on papers. When the roles were reversed, it never happened. It never happened. I mean, they couldn't find them. I mean, it was all types of stuff, you know. So yeah, it is more so in favor of the women. I do believe, though, that things are changing some, but it still sways in favor of the women.
So Jay responded and said, not better parent, better caregiver. And I think we read it better caregiver in the beginning, but do we think that women are better caregivers because they play with dolls? That's a whole nother conversation. We'll talk about that on the next show. But my take, because we're doing guy, girl, why are we put in the system? Like, where did that even come from? You know, I am the type of mother who has always vowed that no matter what it took, I would never put anybody. Not that I wanted to have kids by multiple people. I'm just saying, if I did, I never wanted to have to put anybody in the system, because one, I don't want to go do paperwork. Two, I don't want nobody tracking them down, and if they can't pay, for them to go to jail, and they really can't pay, now they in the system, in the real system, and then, you know, now they got a track record. It's just a lot to me. And there are some women who are out here who live by that, who feels like, oh, I'm gonna make him pay child support. Like, right now, I don't understand in 2021 why there are so many births where people are having to be put on child support, when there's so many resources out here now that you don't have to have kids that you don't want, like birth control. I'm not saying pro-life, pro-choice, whatever. I'm saying birth control. There's so much birth control why are we even being put in this situation, having to put men on child support and things like that? I don't get it. I don't get why people have to force a man to do what he needs to do, or in return force a woman to do what she needs to do. If you guys went half on this child, then you should be willing and agreeable to do what it takes to make sure that these children get what they need. Jamie Jenkins.
How's my feedback?
It's good.
Good. The child support thing is power. It's power to control. It's power to control. One, finances, and two, time. That is a vengeance type deal. I personally, I have a totally different way of thinking when you come to this subject. I think if there's a divorce, there's children involved. I think if the male is able-bodied, sound mind, employed, the children are with the father immediately. They start with the father. They start in the care of the father. Because I think that for so many years, the last 15, 20 years, if the two separate, 95% of the time, the children go with the mother. And so now what happens is the father is free to do what? Start another family, move on, go to school, new career, and all that. And raising children is a task. It's a hard task. We all know that. And so what has happened for the last 15, 20 years is these kids go to the mother. She can't start career. It's not as easy. You know what I'm saying? She can't start her new career. She can't go back to school. She got one child, two kids. She's juggling and stuff like that. I think the father should start as the primary. That's my personal opinion. If the father is able-bodied, able-minded, employed, then that's where it should start. Give me the child first. Give me the kids first. And I think a lot of the things that we go through, we would not have to. That would be my suggestion. As far as the better caregiver, I think the only person that could speak on that is the child themselves. Allow the child to speak freely, and without any manipulation. And so that comes by way of a third party. If we go to court, most women are very technical and tactical. They're sound in keeping records and track of everything. And then the court is, of course, I feel like it's somewhat sympathetic to females when a story is being told. And I don't think any guys can go into the court and have the same type of story a female can. It's just a certain way a woman can tell a story that you're just drawn into it. That's the way I feel. And so now I think the system is set up that we know that most men know that you're going in under the gun. You're going in, you don't have the information she has. You don't have the records and stuff like that. And so you defeat it before you even start. And so most guys say, well, okay, just child support, whatever, and then let's go from there. And most of the time, it's still a discord from, what the children want and need and what's being provided. That's my long and short answer.
Anybody had any rebuttals, anything they want to say in regards to what anybody else said?
Yeah, I'd like to just kind of add something really quick on the child support side. I never had a problem personally with paying child support. Okay, I mean, it's my kid. I mean, I didn't have an issue with that. I didn't like how it happened, right? But I have a problem with that. I grew up with a single mom, and my father did not pay child support, and my mom didn't feel the need to put him on child support. And maybe her attitude was, I don't want to make him do it if he don't want to do, like, forget him, like, who need him, right? And I get it. Meanwhile, my dad is in Miami, right? Living it up, okay, South Beach, partying, palm trees and stuff like that. And my mom is struggling, right, to take care of me. And when I became of age, I had that conversation. I just asked her, why? And, she said something similar to not want to make him do something he didn't want to do. I felt like that was unfair to me because when I wanted to play the saxophone right in middle school, my mom was like, that sax was too expensive. Like she couldn't afford it, right? Maybe some of those things I wanted to do, I could have done had she had that support coming from my father. Now I agree, nobody and our system should have to make anybody do anything for their children, for their family. But in a case where you're in a situation where your other half, is choosing not to, then I think that it's important to utilize those other resources to, bring forth that support. Hey, if your guy's a deadbeat, right, and he ain't showing up, hey, do what you got to do, okay? And if she's a deadbeat, if she ain't showing up, do what you got to do. That's my attitude on that. In reference to the kids being with the dads first, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, by the way, but and just kind of looking at my sons, right, I do feel like that if they had to be with, me or mom, I would rather them be with mom when they're young. Because now you get it 16, 17, 18 years old, you're transitioning into manhood. Like your mom ain't gonna be able to teach you what I need to teach you. But as a kid, it's all fun and game. You know what I'm saying? Like you may need that nurturing and that support like that. But hey, you start getting old and you need somebody to teach you how to maneuver. And my mom may not be able to do that. Okay.
I said, go ahead. You had terrible feedback. That's why I muted you.
Okay.
I had terrible feedback.
No, not you, Jamie. He had came in as you were talking, and I muted him, and that's why he was looking crazy.
Hey, Jamie, don't be interrupting me, bro.
No, man, you just brought up another point, man, that's so valid that I guess just in our community, if the female doesn't have the kids, she's a deadbeat, right? If a woman says, hey, you know what, go be with your daddy, the whole community looks down on the female. But if the man ain't got the kids,
get into the next question, but go ahead. I'll let you go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. If the man doesn't have the kids, it's no big deal. Like he's free and clear to start over, do whatever. And I just think it is just so crazy to me. I just feel like us as men can take that responsibility. I personally want it. But if the female doesn't have, those kids, she know how she will be perceived in the community, and that sometimes makes her more spiteful and more vindictive. Say, you know what, I can't get my kids up. You'll never get them now because I have to have them because just for status. Okay, I'm done.
Derek, are you reaching for your mic? The next question, since they've already tapped into it, where our mothers who don't have custody of their kids view differently from fathers who don't have custody. And I personally experienced this because I didn't give custody away of my children. My ex-husband my son wanted to live with his dad, which he lives with his dad now. So I allowed him to do that. That was his choice. I didn't try to stand in the way of that. And I was ridiculed to the highest. I was called everything but a child of God because I didn't have my children. What kind of woman out here in the street ain't got her children with her? I mean, it was bad. I felt terrible, but I wasn't trying to get them back. I'm just saying. I did feel bad in the moment. But, I knew that at the time, not that he was in a better environment, but I was working a lot because I had to provide. So I was helping and making sure that they had what they needed and giving him what he needed in order to make sure they were good. But I knew that I couldn't give them the time that they needed. And he was living more so in a cohesive community where I was far away from home by myself. So I did what I had to do to make sure that they were safe, and nobody understood that. I became the worst person in the world. And now people are like, oh, I see why you did what you did, but they did not feel comfortable with me not having my children. So that's a very good topic that they've already segued us into. Mothers that are not or don't have custody of their children versus fathers. Jay, what do you think about that?
Where the mother would give their, I can see where the mother would give their rights to the father if, like you said, you're working a lot, you're trying to provide, you're trying to go back to school, you're trying to finish school, you're working on a degree. Okay, the father has a nice living situation. He is more stable during this time. So yes, the child can go live with the father while I finish getting my stuff together, because I won't have the time to put in, rather than me trying to be spiteful, still keep the kids, still trying to go and finish school, still trying to work, still trying to maintain, while he's just living over here and is able-bodied, working, and can help. So I feel like they should have some responsibility. Like, I understand why other people wouldn't see what you did, why you did what you did. But sometimes women have to do that in order to get on their feet to properly manage having their kids on their own. They have to finish doing what they need to do as well. And if you have a good co-parenting situation, then it'll work like that, where he will take on the responsibility while you get yourself together to be the best parent that you can be, so you all can be great parents together.
My bad, y'all. I'm gonna get this mute stuff together. Tremaine, we'll drop down to you. And don't shake your head, Jamie. And we'll come over to you, Derek, and come back around.
So the question was, how do I feel about women that don't have custody of their children?
You personally, or how do you feel society views them? Like, do you think there's a greater stigma on a mother without custody versus a father, which is kind of the same question as before? And you did kind of touch on it, but yeah, you can tell us what you think.
No, it definitely is, because I think that it's kind of expected for men not to be there, right? But for a woman to not be there, that's not the societal norm. So yes, I do feel like women that don't have custody, we're not going to say that they're not there, right? But that don't have custody, or don't have the primary residential custody even, are looked down upon. I don't like it. I can recall my son's mother, his grandmother would put his mom out the house until he came back home. Like she would make her leave if our son couldn't be there. And the first few times, I think I kind of let him stay because she would be out on the street. But after doing that a few times, I was just like, hey, whatever you and your mom got going on, man, y'all got to fix. But I gotta be there for my kid. But I definitely feel like there is a lot more, I guess, negative viewpoint for women that don't have primary custody. You're on mute.
I'm unmuting her, not unmuting me. I'm just leave my mic on mute, because if Jamie frowns his face up at me one more time, I'll punch him through this screen. Dave, what you think the people in the streets will say if you let your baby go and live with his daddy or her daddy?
So because of my the way we set up our own co-parenting schedule, she's gone for a month at a time. So when people have noticed that my 2-year-old has not been with me for a month, they're looking at me like, where's your child? And I'm like, she with her daddy. Right. And I've gotten a lot of dirty looks, but I'm in the generation of NGAF, and I stand on that because I've noticed those comments come from people who either have no co-parenting schedule at all, and this is not court ordered, by the way. So we have, as 23 and 25-year-olds have sat down and come up with something that works for us. So they don't have that privilege to send their kids off for a month and get that break that I get to go and grind for a month straight without having to worry about where my 2-year-old is. Or people who don't have kids at all, which I really don't care to hear their comments. So I will say yes, I've gotten a lot of dirty looks, even though we both technically have custody of her. We get some dirty looks for not having our child with us at all times. But your girl need a break, okay? So, and I'm not ashamed to say it.
Right. And you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. And that's a lot of mothers, take on this role and they don't ever get breaks and they don't feel like they deserve a break. But you do. I solely think that all mothers deserve breaks.
Every woman needs a break, even if it's just a weekend. We need that break.
Derek, before you jump in, I want to give a few of these comments. J. Ray says, I also have witnessed mothers influence a child's relationship with the father because of how that relationship ended. Are mothers are we more guilty of this than fathers? Because I've seen fathers do the same. I've seen fathers talk negatively about mothers as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And somebody said exactly, Tromaine. Sorry, I don't know what they were saying it about, but that's what they said. J. Ray is in here. She says, these are our kids. My pride won't stop me from getting what's needed for my children. I think a lot, that's me. Like if I had to work 4 or 5 jobs to make sure they have what they need, that's what I'm gonna do. Says if he ain't got it, I won't stop him from being a dad. Facts. If whoever can't provide financially, but they want to show up to give time, I would much prefer time over finances any day of the week. Somebody, this girl says somebody need to get these kids this weekend though. DACL. All right, Jay, drop them off over here. I ain't got nothing to do. All right. So somebody said, I guess in that case, the child's stability has to be prioritized over the mother's pride. Well, I ain't gonna say I don't have no pride, but if he wants these kids, he can have them. Corey Murray said, I have full custody of my son because his mom wasn't able to care for him. I respect her for telling me. And a lot of women need to be able to have that safety net to say, hey, listen, I need you this month, or I need you for next year. Can you take him next year? Whatever needs to happen will happen. And last, it says, how you work that out, sis. Talking today. That's why she's a part of the conversation, because although she's young, she's very mature. And I know a lot of us 40, 50, 60-year-olds don't have the maturity to sit down and create types of plans where we work things out and work together as co-parents. So kudos to you for that, Jay, and your baby's father. All right, dear, say the best for last. What you think?
You keep saying say the best for last, like we don't have a whole panel up here. That's
what
like saying my favorite kid.
You from Maryland. We down here, we country, we don't know nothing. You know how you came in talking about what y'all doing tonight. So we want to know what y'all city folk think about all of this here.
I married a woman from Mississippi once upon a time, so I get it. I get it.
But you
from a small town called Eupora.
It's okay.
Anyway, I think society, when they see a woman who isn't, actively watching the kid, like the guy may have custody, or like in Dave's situation where they're splitting it month by month. I think society, because of some things that we've seen in society, and there's a lot of bad examples of men just leaving and not caring or whatever. I think the assumption is that the man automatically has to be the worst choice. They put that on all of us, right? So when they see the woman making the choice to let them go go with the dad, whether it's for a short amount of time or whether he has full custody, it automatically means you must be a bad mom. Because why would you choose him without even knowing who the him is or making an assessment of his capabilities? Why would you have to be the best choice because you're a woman? So what's wrong with you? And that's the first thought. But we know in practice, and the men on the panel, the men in the comments, we know all of us aren't a monolith. So you really have to look at it in a case-by-case basis, because there's a lot of us, like even myself, when I was raising my daughter, her mom was there, but she wasn't there. So I had to do a lot of it myself, and I did it successfully. Her mom was there, but her mom wasn't ready to be a mom. So I had to fill in the blanks on some of the stuff that her mom probably would have had to do. Like I had to be the nurturer a lot of the times, and the person that kind of held my daughter, because her mom wasn't ready to do that. I had to wait like 10 years to get that from her mom. So you got to really look at case by case, instead of assuming that that's the worst decision. Sometimes it's the best decision, because everybody's dealing with different stuff. Maybe you need a couple years to get yourself together, and that if you have a man that's willing to step up and do that, why wouldn't you make that decision?
Great points. All excellent points, guys. This is so true. And, I can say that after each child that I had, I did not feel a connection, and I was not wanting to be a parent. So I'm very thankful that I had somebody in my life who was willing to be that nurturer, because I didn't want to feed it. I didn't want to look at it. I went through months of depression. So I'm very grateful that he was a nurturer. He may have played with dolls. I should ask him one day. But somebody said, I feel you, bro. So y'all, we are coming up on an hour already. Do you see how fast this time goes? So this is going to be the only thing we discussed tonight, but we have 2 more questions in this topic. And the next question is, how does effective co-parenting look, and what is the best way to achieve it? Anybody can chime in on this, and we don't have to go in any order. If you want to talk about it, go ahead. Go, Dave.
So I wanted to answer the question that was in the comment, but I'm glad this is the question on the panel. So, and it's kind of piggybacking off of something you said earlier, about realizing that it's not about you and having control. Like that co-parenting relationship works out when you realize it doesn't matter how the relationship ended. It has nothing to do with the two of you and everything to do with the child. That's when you realize you can have a functioning, highly functioning co-parenting relationship. You figure out what's going to work best, especially in the youngest age of your kids. That's the best time to try to figure it out, and then you maneuver through the ages as it comes. That's what we figured out. I'm just glad it didn't take us till she was 16 to figure it out, honestly. So that's all I have to say about that.
All right. Anybody else?
So just kind of piggybacking off of what Dave said, I think effective co-parenting is being mature enough to put your children first in everything, right? Being able to put your differences aside and, putting the children first. Though the relationship with my kids' mothers didn't work, I personally feel like I was better at being able to put our children first and not hold different things against them where it affected their ability to spend time with their mom. So my whole idea behind even having custody to begin with was solely based upon me feeling like I would better manage their going and coming without being so emotional about it, right? That's your mom. You have just as much of a right to see her as you have to see me. So even after I was awarded custody, they still had free range, right? But I know had it been on the other side, they would not have been able to come as freely, and hang out with dad and, his cool, beautiful wife, which is also on this tonight, right? Shout out to her. Anyway, so that's what it looked like to me. We were able to achieve that for quite some time, where my daughter's mom would come over, we would hang out, we would go to school programs together, we would go to doctor appointments and stuff like that together. And, she got a boyfriend that felt like it was weird, and he didn't like it. So, she decided not to put her daughter first, right? She put her guy first, and the relationship kind of dissolved.
Kudos to you, because I was wondering where that little shameless, beautiful, cool new mom came in, but it's because she in the comments like, now I had to put it together. I was like, now where he throw that in here from? Okay, cool, beautiful mom, Felicia. He shouted you out, girl. You gotta respect the man. We do what we supposed to do. Jay Ray said something in here about JSU, and I'm tempted to not put her comment in here, but I'm going to, but not right now. Anybody else want to talk about how they feel about I forgot what we were talking about. She made me so mad. Go ahead, Jamie. What you got?
If the children, let me ask you this. I guess my question is for the audience and for the panel. if we're separated and we have children of age of good intelligence, of understanding, if I can speak to the child, a child's teenage years, that's who I want 100% of my communication to go through. I should be able to talk to my child about anything. My child should be communicating to me their needs, their wants. That's how that bond is built. Now kids may want to see something different, or you know what I'm saying, or the other parent may want to see something different. But my personal preference that if my kids need something, then I want my kids to talk to me about it. And that helps me. That's for my peace. And I know it's about the kids, but when messages go back and forth, and what about this? What about that? And you said this and that. I can kill all that. I can for me. If my daughter needs something, she says, "Dad, can you help me with this?" Now I can tell her exactly what I want her to know. I don't need someone else telling my child what I said. I should have that right to talk and have that conversation. Now, if the conversation can be taken back to the mother, that's up to the child. But I want to have the initial conversation with the child myself. There's no need for a 17-year-old to be to have a lawyered up to have a conversation. Just talk to me. I can talk to you about whatever.
Anybody want to chime in on that? How do they feel? Anybody who's co-parenting, do you feel like you should have to go through your child's, if you're a mother and you have custody of the children, do you feel like the father should have to go through you to talk to the child? Or if you're a father, do you feel like you should have to go through the mother to talk to the child? Derek, I see you with your facial expressions. What you think about that? Because J. Ray said, no, J. Ray said, no, big dog, you need to talk to me. Jerry, why do you feel like a father should have to talk to you in order to talk to a teenager? Or to talk to his kids about certain things? Why do you feel that? If you want to chime in, I sent you the link so you can come on here if you feel like you want to tell the people why you feel that way.
I don't even do that now. My daughter's 12. She got a phone. I got a phone. Most questions that she asked me before she asked her mom the house that she's in right now, just because of the relationship we have. So I just think that to me, if you got to do all of that, that means something else going on besides your parenting and the kids. Like, there's got to be something else going on. Especially your kid able to talk, your kid smart enough, your kid got a whole cell phone, they can't text me without your permission. Something else going on there. So I'm gonna lay there.
Listen, the beautiful, amazing, phenomenal Felicia McTiller has dropped in the comments, and she says the problem is that the relationship would have to be established at an early age, because as the kids get older, they may not be as comfortable with communicating with the parent outside the home. Very interesting observation, Felicia. I appreciate that feedback. Anybody else? J. Ray says, my son's father and I have, girl, if you say something else about D, I promise you I'm going to shut this whole podcast down. Has the best co-parent relationship. We are united on all platforms, on all fronts. Sorry, my son is 17. Okay, we are united on all fronts. We have the best communication. That kind of doesn't answer the question though. Like, does he have to talk to you if his son needs something, or can his son just call him and be like, "Hey, Dad, I need this. Is it okay?" Like, can the son just tell you? Like, if he gonna pick him up from school, does he have to say, "Hey, Jay, I'm gonna pick the boy up from school," or can he tell the boy and the boy tell you? Like, how does that work? We can talk about that at a later time, Jay. Dave,
can I chime in?
Oh, yeah,
so
absolutely.
I feel like parents, and no offense to you, J. Ray, but I feel like that is a controlling mechanism. There is no reason, if your child can comprehend, is old enough to comprehend a conversation with that parent, that there should be a conversation, unless it was something like, because you know how kids do. They'll come ask the mom, and the mama said no, then they're going to go ask the daddy. But if that's not the situation, then there is no reason why you should have to come through me to talk to your child if she is perfectly capable of having that conversation with you. Because at the end of the day, that's just me being nosy and wanting to control the situation that has nothing to do with me.
Ooh, girl, your maturity be blowing me. Go ahead, Tremaine.
I agree with Day 100%. I mean, look, these parents don't know who their kids is talking to online. How dare you try to monitor when I talk to them? Like, let's be for real. And even when my kids were not in communication with their mothers, you know, like I would intervene and just kind of like, yo, I mean, everything's all right. Like, yo, you ain't checking in and stuff like that. I mean, and that right there is how I kind of played it, because it's important for them to be, you know, for them to have, you know, those relationships, in my opinion, you know, though my wife does a phenomenal job, you know, doing what she got to do, right? Honestly, I mean, blend it so well you can't tell is our thing. But I mean, but I would often just kind of check on that, because I don't want them to grow up and feel like, my mom wasn't there, and you know how these kids be sometimes, and these children today are soft, you know. I mean, you grew up with our mom or dad, they trying to off themselves, something like that. It's crazy. These kids ain't the same.
They're not the same, you know. And that's something else that you said, that
Because they don't play in dirt.
That's right. That's right. They need to play in dirt. As a matter of fact, me and mine's going out to put some wood tomorrow. But you said something about how your wife feels and how it's blended. That was the last topic on our agenda for tonight, is about being a bonus parent. And, you know, I think that it is more so accepted today than it ever has been, because back in the day, step parents were like, you know, like, stepmama, stepdaddy. But today it's more so fluid, and people and mothers and stepdads and all that are able to actually do more. And I just want to know, just, you know, from you guys, if you are a bonus mom, if you are a bonus dad, how do you feel being a bonus parent? And like, how do you make sure that those children who are not your biological children feel as if they are a part of you wholly, and not just through the other parent?
Okay, so I have a 16-year-old bonus child, and for me at first it was a little rough because of the age difference. But she never had a problem with it. So I try to, you know, do things that she's into. We go shopping, we, you know, sit down and we talk for hours. We do bump heads every now and then, but we all come together as a family and talk about those moments where we bump heads and we work it out. But other than just saying it's been a journey, it's pretty cool. Like, I don't think she feels any less love than my 2-year-old does, you know, and I would never make her feel any less loved. So
and just speaking on that, as far as her mother, like, in order to make sure that those relationships with the children are good, I think that we all have to be adults, and we have to cultivate those relationships between the parents of the children. And it takes a special level of maturity to do that, because not everybody, you know, we're in a culture and a society where it's bigger, drama. So when you're able to really, you know, talk to the other parent and let them know, you know, that we're bigger people than this. If y'all not together, there shouldn't even be no issue here. Like, what's the problem? So how do you deal with that as a co-parent or as a bonus parent, Dave?
So luckily in my situation, we don't have those problems. Mother hasn't been in her life since she was 3. So okay. I don't know.
Okay. You can't even speak on that. I understand. Anybody else on the panel have that topic that they can speak on?
I'm not a bonus parent. I don't know if my wife would consider herself as a bonus parent.
I'm gonna tell you what she said.
Okay. No, that right there. No, she's absolutely right. She's the parent. They're the bonus. Gotcha. I mean, I don't even know what else to say about that, but you know, we don't use step. We've never used step. You know, that in our house, bonus, not like that. I mean, and maybe because my kids were so young when my wife and I met, right? So I mean, to them, like, she's just as much as their mom as their biological mothers are. More so, I'm sure, but yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Derek?
You said if anybody want to talk, but you keep calling me out.
Jay got her mic open. Jay, you go ahead.
I'm not a
glasses, bro. You look
Yeah,
like you got something to say, man.
I'm not a bonus parent, but you know, it's tough, man. It's just like everything we talked about tonight, and the same thing I coach on it with the relationship coaching. Emotional decisions, most of the time, they suck. Like we gotta focus on what the main thing is. Even with co-parenting, it's tough. Just like my situation, my daughter's mom, she was afraid that my wife was going to be better than her, so she made every point to sabotage it because she didn't want that to happen, and it creates this ugly thing. And I'm like, it's all emotional.
It is.
It's not, you know, my daughter is sitting there on the sidelines absorbing the energy that you putting out.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 12, you know, I'm paying for it now. Like all of that stuff is in her. So we got to be mindful about how we attack people and what the repercussions of that. Because you could have an argument with me on the phone, and then when you get off, if you still charged up and heated, that kid's gonna catch that. Like we gotta really be mind. I didn't even realize how deep that was until I saw it in my kid, and I was like, she
Yeah.
watched that stuff coming up.
They
So
see and feel
we
everything.
really got to be mindful of that.
Yes, indeed. They see and they feel everything, no matter whether it's spoken verbally, whether it's energy, they soak all of that in. Go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry. I
Oh no, you're fine. 'Cause I think I'm the only single parent in here tonight, so I don't have any bonus kids, and I'm not a bonus mom. But I do not like the term step parent. I don't like the step part. I had a stepdad coming up, and it was just like I was the redheaded stepchild. So I was like, if I ever was in that situation, I don't want like the whole step thing. So I
Gotcha.
feel like if I were to ever get with someone who had other kids, they'll just be my other kids. I wouldn't treat them any different, and I would expect them not to treat mine any different. We'll just be one big happy family, just
Gotcha.
one big happy blended family.
Yes, and it's
But you
becoming
can't
more.
tell, like Tremaine said, was so blended you can't tell. Yes, I want that type of relationship.
It's becoming more the norm. So hopefully you'll be able to get that. Jamie, did you have something you wanted to say?
For me, it's been phenomenal. And our relationship, I think, is just so cool because my kids vibe with your kids better than they vibe when it's just them two. You know what I'm saying? It like they literally have become siblings, you know, right before our very eyes. And most of the time when you are the bonus, when you know the parent that's not, I guess, uh, biologically there, you're often going into a situation where the children have seen certain things, right? They've seen certain action, they've seen certain arguments, they've seen certain things. So the kids, what they really want is to see how you're going to treat their parent, mother or father. It doesn't matter. They want to see this respect, or they want to see a certain language or a certain level of care and comfort that they can be rest easy around. That's when they can let their guards down as kids. Because you have to know they're coming into a situation where their guards are all the way up. And the only thing that's going to bring them down, words won't bring them down, toys and things, none of that stuff will work. They have to see that you are genuinely there for their parent. And at that point, you can start your coaching. You can start your mechanisms of, you know, what you want to see and how you discipline or how you react to certain situations. So it's all about what they're going to see. I mean, your actions are going to have to mold that relationship.
Awesome, guys. I know that everybody is dying to not end this, but we're going to have to wrap this thing up. Tremaine, hush. I'm just waiting. 1 hour is our max, y'all. We just like to keep it at an hour, somewhere under an hour and 30, to make sure that our viewers don't get tired, because I know that sometimes watching podcasts and stuff can get a little old. So we're gonna wrap this up with some current events. I'm gonna go back up to J Ray's comment because I want to put her comment in here and I want to talk about what she said, kind of sort of slightly, to wrap this thing up. She says, once the parents decide that they will do what is best for the child, everything will be as smooth as y'all see that trash. All right. So look at Jay. She must be a Jackson State fan. Okay, so anyways, I wanted to say about that, y'all. I wanted to just throw this out here because as parents, I know y'all are kind of men, especially. I don't know about women. Y'all are watching what's going on in the world as far as this Deion Sanders and Jackson State stuff goes. So I want to know from you guys on this platform. Y'all tell me now, with him flipping this first recruit or whatever it is, y'all know I don't know the lingo. Will this make the playing fields for the SWAC unfair? That was something that I was thinking about as I realized that, you know, with him going and getting these high level recruits and then the other schools who are in the SWAC not having that same ability to do so, will that make these things unfair? Y'all chime in. Tell me what y'all think.
It's still gonna be all cool forever.
Forever and ever and ever and
Forever.
ever. You better say that, girl.
I'm not a big sports fan, to be honest. Like, I don't know what Deion Sanders really got going on. I went to JSU, but I just don't follow sports like that. But is it fair that he's able to go out and get all of the better players? I mean, why wouldn't it be?
Well, I'm not asking if it's fair. I'm asking if he's able to turn these number one nationwide recruits and the people who he's playing against are not able to do the same. Will it make their playing fields unfair? Like if he's got all these number one players and you playing against people who don't have these players in your division, the people who you're playing against, how will that stack up against, you know, in the FCS and I've been looking up stuff and reading terms and stuff. FBS.
Yeah, that'll probably be a better somebody else because I don't know. I mean, hey, it is what it is. I mean, I don't think.
I don't know how it works. That's why I'm asking. I'm asking here because I want to know what people are thinking. What y'all? I didn't know I had people on here that don't know nothing about sports, but go ahead.
So I'm not big on sports, but just from like common sense, I feel like that's just like saying that somebody is like everybody has the same profession, but there's somebody that's better. Like it's just gonna make everybody else step their game up. Honestly,
I like that.
Like it's not his fault that he came from the NFL. Like Jackson State was able to get him. That means everybody else need to be trying to figure out how they can do what he's doing.
I like that, Dave.
That's
a good way to look at it. That's a good way to look at it. Darren, what you gotta say? Darren, do you watch sports?
I really don't give a damn, but I'll make a comment anyway.
All right, guys. Good night.
I'll make a comment anyway. I think I agree with what Dave said. I don't think we're going to see this happen in droves anytime soon. Like the whole football team is going to be all these number one, number two draft. I don't think that's going to happen. Not anytime soon. So if it's just one guy, it's not like basketball where you can have like a LeBron or a Michael Jordan. That team got to be solid too. So against the whole, SWAC or whatever, people gonna do what they got to do. They're gonna watch them play and they're gonna do what they got to do to win the game. Even if it's two dudes, you still gotta have that whole team rally around him. And then the other teams that are watching that game tape, they like, okay, we see what he's doing. Let's do what we got to do. I think they're gonna step up and do what they got to do. Now, if you get a whole team full of Division I, y'all got the reserves are all Division I, then I don't know, maybe, but I don't think that's gonna happen no time soon. That's wishful thinking.
Jay, what you have to say?
I just think in his last name Hunter.
Yes.
So I think basically like he chose, like I guess other kids would do. Like when he starts going pro and pro teams start looking at him, they're gonna want to see who he trained under. And I think seeing that he trained under Deion Sanders is gonna look very, very good on his resume. He's like, not only was he number one in the country, but then he turned around and got trained by a Hall of Famer. So he knows like his future is gonna see that, and they're gonna want to get him when it's time to draft.
I just wanted to bring this back to parenting and family. And the reason why I brought that up is because as we have boys, girls, children who are moving toward being in college and moving toward making decisions in the college world, we have to be mindful of what's going on around us. So this is definitely along the lines of what we're discussing tonight, just about raising children, making sure they're making the best decisions, and always hoping for the best for them. So we're not, let me be clear, as Alkanites, we are not in any ways worried. I did want to know though how people felt about how him being, you know, at that status, and, you know, other schools not being able to recruit at that level, how it would fare. And for us who are parents, what do we have to look forward to, and how do we rear our children to follow those same paths, regardless of what their status is, or regardless of, you know, how athletic they are, or what should be their goals on the next level. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I solely appreciate you. I'm not going to let Jamie talk on this subject because we'll be another 20 minutes. We'll do a side show for you, babe. You guys have a good night, and y'all hit the like, hit the share, catch us on the replay, and peace out. We'll catch y'all Thursday in January.